boys and girls, welcome along to the show today. We've moved into the other room today just to see what it's like. I'm in the other room and I'm wondering if it sounds a little bit echoey in here. I won't know until I finish the show, you see. So we'll have to. It's a bit of an experiment today. This is Chris Reardon. United Kingdom Talk is the name of the show. 3 times a week talk show. I've already made a big error today. Now, I thought tomorrow I had to go into London at a given time, like quite early in the morning, right? So, being as it's, when I say early in the morning, I've got to be in London at 10 o'clock in the morning, which in my mind is quite early. It's not really the sort of time you want to drive into London, you know, 10 in the morning. So, to do that, I would probably have to leave here by car at 7:30, and then you'd have a hideous problem, parking and all that sort of thing. So I decided to get the train. Okay, now there's so many different train fares here in the UK, and it's a bit of a minefield. Unfortunately, I will need to leave the train at peak time, which means you pay the maximum amount of fare possible, right? So I've just been up to the train station, literally before I started doing the show today. Oh, do you know, I've just realised I've got my table lamp here and I haven't put it up, and now there's nowhere to put it. Never mind, we'll forget that today. I'll tell those of you listening on the radio, I'll tell you exactly what's going on in a minute, okay? You won't know what's happening, but I shall tell you in a minute. Don't worry. Oh, and incidentally, more about the cough. That's all coming. It's all coming. Don't rush me. I've told you before. So I've gone up the train station and I've ordered my tickets. And I said, it's for tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock. He said, OK, it's £22.50, dear. £22.50 to go into London and back out again at 8 o'clock in the morning. Well, going in at 8 anyway and coming out whatever time you want. £22, I mean, it's a hell of a lot of money, isn't it, eh? Just for a train fare. Oh, it gets better. Oh, it gets better, dear. Right? So I've got home, feeling rather peeved about these tickets. I rang my sister immediately and I said, you never guess how much it is to go into London and come back out. £22. She says it's wicked. That's my sister's favourite word, wicked. She said, oh, it's wicked it is. My nan used to say that as well. I'm sure my sister is secretly turning into Nanny Hayes. It's definitely coming. They do say you turn into your parents, don't they? Has it happened to you yet? Have a look at yourself in the mirror now. Don't you think you look a little bit like your mum or your dad now? And in that case, do you then become your grandparents? Oh, now I've got you scared, haven't you? So I got back here, got my little money holder thing out, put it on the side, and I thought I'll just check I've got the right time, 10 o'clock. All right, so I've got two £22, I've got 2 tickets in my money carrier worth £22, which I've just bought. I looked at the calendar and I've bought them for tomorrow, which is when I thought it was, but it's for Friday. I've got the wrong tickets, haven't I? Oh, don't laugh. The only thing I can do now is either take the loss, which you know I won't do. Literally, after I finish this show, I've got to rush back up to the train station before the little office closes, Bracknell train station, and say, hello, and then, you know, hold my head in shame and say, I've only bought the wrong tickets, can you help me? I have a feeling if I leave it till tomorrow, they will say no, because you could have used them by now, which I could have done. Unless I go up there at 8 o'clock in the morning when I wanted to travel. And I have no intention of getting up about 8 o'clock in the morning if I don't have to. Can you believe it? I'm so stupid. Have you ever done anything like that? Bought the wrong tickets for something? Let me know about it. There's an email address to the show. The email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Now, my voice is probably sounding a little bit different today. I have got a bit of an ongoing cold here, I think. It's been about, let me see, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. It's been about 6 days now. It started off last week on Thursday with a bit of a chest. That's all. Yeah, I think you know what I mean by that. You just know something's wrong. That was the same on Friday. On Saturday, I developed a phlegmy cough, which I've still got now. Let me see if I can do it. No, nothing coming up now. But that was on Saturday. And I thought, OK, well, a little bit worse, but not too much to worry about. Sunday, it was the same. And I went to bed Sunday afternoon about 4 o'clock for a couple of hours before I go to work. When I got up at 6 o'clock, I felt dreadful. I didn't feel well at all. Not scared dreadful, just dreadful, yeah? Yeah, I mean, there's a difference. And I got in the car and went to work. I think I better go down to the doctor tomorrow. I really don't feel well at all. And I worked 6 hours, and actually, at the end of the night, I didn't feel as bad. So that was that. So that was Sunday. Monday, I still had the cough, and I feel quite warm. Right? And then we got Tuesday, and then Wednesdays, which is the day I'm recording this. So 6 days, I still feel warm. The cough is not really there now. Now and again I'll cough, and some will come up, you know. Although it's not really done it today. Maybe that's stopped as well. But I do feel quite warm. However, it is warm outside. I've got a thermometer. I wish I'd brought it up the stairs now to show you. And it's not something you put under your tongue. This thing is like a strip of plastic, and you hold it on your forehead. I think it's for children, but it's the only one they had in the shop at the time. And you hold this thermometer. Oh, do you want me to go downstairs and get it? I can't really describe it without knowing it. Hang on a minute. Let me just pop downstairs and I'll get the thermometer. Oh dear. I've actually got the microphone in my pocket today, so I can take you downstairs with me, which is quite nice. All my illnesses just go on and on, don't they? Now, where is this thing? There it is. Is that it there? Yes. Right. So much easier to talk about these things when you've got them in your hand. Back up. Oh, hang on. It's not in the box. What have I done with that then? Oh, I must have put that down somewhere. Oh, I shall never find that, will I, now? What you're listening to is all these little bits of paper in the room. Let me see if it's possibly in the kitchen. It's here somewhere. There it is. Got it. Where's the cat? Cat's asleep. Right, up we go. There's always so much to do, isn't there, eh? Anyway, haven't really given me a problem with the asthma at all. That hasn't brought that back. I'm not like short of breath or anything like that. It's just a bit of a chest. Anyway, so I actually went in the chemist to buy a normal thermometer, what you put under your tongue or under your arm or in the other end, wherever you want to put it. But I didn't have any left. And I bought this thing, what's it called? Mr. Sneeze forehead thermometer. And it's a little plastic thing. And it's got various different colours on it, right? And the idea is, you put it on your head and you hold it there for 15 seconds, right? Which I'm doing now. Has 15 seconds passed yet? I'm not quite sure. And then, just a minute now. Now I have to flick it over quickly because the idea, no, just a minute. Yeah, no, that says normal, which it did yesterday when I tried it, actually. It does actually come up as normal, so I don't have a temperature. But these thermometers were really made for parents and their children. Because children, you know, I mean, it's a bit dodgy, I suppose, sticking a blooming glass thermometer in your child's mouth or something like that. So they're made for that. And the way it works, you hold it on your forehead, and on the front are like indicators. and they will change colour depending on what your temperature is. The only thing is, as soon as you remove it from the forehead, the indicators disappear. Unless you're even if you're very quick, even if you're very quick, that by the time you've turned it around, the indicators have gone off. So not really good for sad, lonely people like me who are on their own. All right, but anyway, the temperature was normal there, as indeed it has been the last couple of days. So I don't have a temperature or anything like that. But here we are, day 6. So what have I got now? A little bit of a cough, and I feel quite warm, and noticeable thing more than anything is the voice. And the funny thing is, whenever people ring up, because a couple of people have rung up, Wayne the butler kindly rung up, and my friend Jason in London, to see how I was, and oh, you sound much worse than you did yesterday. And actually, I'm not. I suppose I feel a bit better than yesterday, but because your voice sounds bad, you know? And you can always change your image, can't you? I'm sure you've done it, haven't you? When you've been ill, perhaps, and you pretend to go back to work when you're still ill, and you're actually not, but if you just rough yourself up a bit, it does look like you're still ill. Although I've noticed over the years, there's no point at all in dragging yourself into work when you're ill. I mean, don't get me wrong, I hope you're not one of these people who phone in sick at the slight hint of a headache or a sore throat or something like that. I hope you're not one of those, are you? No. No, well, that's all right then. But if you're ill, I used to drag myself into work every time. I don't do it anymore. I really don't, because you get absolutely no appreciation at all. No one comes up to you at all and says, "Oh, are you feeling all right now? Can I get you a drink?" or anything like that. Nothing. So now I don't bother. If I'm ill, I go sick and that's it. Because people don't appreciate it. You would think they do. And what's more annoying than anything else, and there must be one or two of you have got some stories on this one, what's the more annoying thing than anything else is then when your colleagues go sick every 5 minutes and they get away with it. How does that make you feel? I bet that really it gets me when colleagues fall sick and nothing is kind of done about it, is it, eh? Hideously annoying, that. Your stories on that, please, Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. So, I mean, not too bad. Getting over it slowly. Feel quite warm. Is it swine flu, though? Don't know. It could be, couldn't it? Because at one end of the scale, you've got people dying. Okay, a very, very minuscule amount of people, a handful of people in the thousands that have got this flu, right? And at the other end of the scale, you've got people going into doctor surgeries, oh, I'm afraid you've got swine flu, here's some tablets. And they're like, well, is this it? Sore throat, runny nose, bit of a cough. Yes, that's it. We won't bother taking the pills. Do you see what I mean? So if I have it, I'm fortunately at that end of the scale, but I don't know. They don't test you, do they? They just look at the symptoms. They don't take a swab or anything like that anymore, I don't think. And besides, if you think you've got it, they don't actually want you to go down the doctors anyway, do they? It's true. So maybe I have, maybe I haven't. Okay. Now, what have I got to tell you about today? Oh, my brother-in-law, Martin, is always looking at new ways to create businesses. And he's got a new printer which prints on fabric. And for his first picture, he's printed off on this fabric stuff. I don't know what it's called, some sort of material it is. He's printed off a big picture of myself and my nephew, right, eating an ice cream at Skegness. Now, this would have been this year, back in, or was it last year? I can't remember now. Could have been last year, but there we are. Myself and my nephew, and the picture's quite big. It's about, oh, let's see, 1, 2, 3 foot long and 2 foot wide, and it's fabulous. Absolutely fabulous. So, oh, I nearly dropped that then. So I'm going to put that on the floor or on the wall behind me at some point. In the what I shall call probably the new video studio. Now, I've moved the studio. We're trying it out in the spare room. Don't worry, I'm not spending. Well, I am spending a little bit of money actually. I am waiting for a new gadget to arrive as we speak. Oh yes, I've got one of those new little tie clip microphones coming. Should be here tomorrow or the day after. I'm not quite sure what day it's coming. Hopefully tomorrow, I would have thought. So I've got a new little tie clip microphone coming. But apart from that, I'm not buying anything. I'm just using stuff that I've got already in the house. Now I've got this glass cabinet next to me with various little things in it. I was going to put one on the other side of me, okay, something else, and something behind me. But actually, now that I've set the camera up in front of me, I can't pull back the camera as much as I thought I could. So it's, I don't know whether it's worth doing this in here or not now. Now that I've put the camera in position and I've got the black curtain up on the wall. Oh, that was a palaver putting that up. Let me tell you. Why are such simple looking jobs always so difficult? I went out to the DIY shop, Sainsbury's Homebase, down the road on Sunday to get a curtain. I was going to get a curtain pot. I found a square curtain pot. I thought that'll look all right. So I've put it up on the ceiling, but it was such a job to do. It's not hard. 3 things you've got to put on the wall. But I always find that each kind of thing on the wall had to have 4 screws in it. And I'm no good at doing this stuff at all. Really not. I do the 4 screws. I put the raw plugs in. So many things go wrong. First of all, you do the holes. Then you try and put a raw plug in and the hole's too small. Then you re-drill the hole, right? You put the raw plug and it falls in. It's so big. Just completely useless at DIY. I really am. Can you hear that's my phone? I shall leave that. So that's that, right? Oh, so I wonder who that is on the phone. No, leave the phone. You're more important. So I've got these 4 holes in the wall and I put the thing in and it's not straight, is it? So I'm kind of trying to bend that round. Oh, I just hate it. I hate DIY, I really do. Anyway, it is up on the ceiling now, or up on the top of the wall now, and the curtain is hung from it. But I don't mind admitting to you, one good tug and the whole lot will come down. I mean, it's true. It's going again. I'm going to have to see that. It might be an important call. Just a minute now. I have a feeling it is. No, not an important call. There we are, back again. Not an important call. Oh, sit back down again. Dear me, I'm a bit slower. That's the other thing as well. My illness has made me a little bit slower today. Okay, so it's up on the wall now. Give it a good tug and it'll come down. So I've got the black curtain hanging behind me. A kind of picture to the right of me. If you listen to the radio, you know, just work this out in your head. A picture to your left of me, a nice big picture, and this glass cabinet. But the glass cabinet, I mean, if I remove the picture for a moment, it's become clear that the glass cabinet is actually a little bit too tall. So instead of seeing all the 3 sections of the dark glass cabinet with the various different things in it, you can only see the top 2 and a bit of the... Oh, actually, 1, 2... Can you see all of them? No, you can't see the top one at all. You see the bottom 2 and the legs. And I thought it would be the correct size, but unfortunately it's not. The only way to get around that is to actually hire up the chair or chop the legs off, and you can't really chop the legs off this because they're metal. Oh dear, these things are sent to test us, aren't they? They really are. So I don't know if this is an improvement or not. If you're watching the show on YouTube or Current TV or anything like that, what do you think? Does this look better now? Or is it better in the studio with all the little flashing lights around me? I don't want to do too much in here, really, to be honest. And then realise that actually it was better in the little studio. It's so difficult to know what to do. Your comments, please, if you're watching on YouTube, I'd like to know what you think, okay? It's Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. I should be very disappointed if it is swine flu. What with all that hand washing I've been doing all the time. You know, literally at work I've been washing my hands once an hour. And if I've got it now, then all that was a complete and utter waste of time. I should be most annoyed with the government. I should have to vote for someone else next year, and that's it. What a cheek. Oh, it was funny the other day, talking of washing hands. I was in the kitchen. I've got this new hand wash. Not many people use soap now, do they? You notice that? We've all got these squeezy bottle things of soap, whatever it is, haven't we? No one's got soap anymore. Anyway, so I've got this new one in the kitchen, and I used it, and I washed my hands, and that was that. And I came upstairs to do some work in the studio, and the window was open. I thought, what a lovely smell of flowers. I thought to myself, I wonder where that's coming. And I looked out the window, and I'm trying to see these flowers. And of course, what it was the hand wash on my hands. How mad is that? Another stupid day. I've completely lost the plot this week. I absolutely have. Now, what else have we got? Oh yes, keyboard problems. Do you find when you're using your computer, there are keys that you always hit accidentally? The one I do is instead of the, I don't know what it's called now, the apostrophe. Okay? Instead of the apostrophe, I keep hitting the semicolon. Why is that? Does anyone else do that? You know, so for example, if I was saying Christopher's, CHRISTOPHER apostrophe S, and where I put the apostrophe, and then when I finished it, I look back and there's a semicolon there. I don't know why. Anyone else do that? Do you keep hitting the wrong keys? Does anyone keep hitting semicolon instead of apostrophe on their keyboard? What's all that about? I mean, I've got nothing against apostrophes at all, dear. Nothing against them. So why do I keep hitting the semicolon? Don't know. No idea. I was very pleased the other day, working in a pub, I don't know why. Someone said to me, Chris, have you been working out? Oh, I love it. I love it. No, I have not been working out, but I didn't tell them that. Oh, just a couple of trips down to the gym. Oh, you can really see it, they said. Do you think that was a compliment? Do you think they were trying to get off with me? Is that what it was? Have I missed an opportunity there? I'm quite good at missing opportunities like that. I really am. Never see it coming, me. Never. Strange, isn't it? I only do the swimming. I can't be doing the gym. It bores me to tears. Oh, I hate it so much. That's why I don't do it anymore. My mate Ron, he goes down the gym 7 o'clock in the morning. How do you do that? Get out of bed and, oh dear. Get out of bed and go straight down the gym. So that's that. Do you remember that book I told you about? That I just started reading? Blood, Sweat and Tea is the name of the book. Blood, Sweat and Tea. It's by Tom Reynolds. And it's about the life of an ambulance driver. Now, this guy has been writing a blog about his experiences working on the London ambulances. And he's turned it into a book. And it's one of the few books that I've been able to continue reading, and I've actually found hard to put down. I have a big problem reading books from beginning to end that are quite large. I don't know why I lose interest unless they're in little bits. I like short stories. Roald Dahl's short stories I like. I do have another 2 short stories books that I bought recently. I've lost interest in those. One of them I can't follow at all, by some American author. I can't remember. Is it in the other room? I can't remember where it is now. Donald someone or other. Just can't follow that one at all. Don't know what the hell he's written about. Can't follow it. And another one, and I'm not really, I don't know about the other one. I haven't really started it yet. But this one is good. Real life adventures in an inner city ambulance. Fantastic. As I say, it's kind of split up, and it writes about his daily encounters that he has to suffer or deal with on his ambulance. I'll just read you one little bit. Now, which bit shall I read you? Okay. Right. Just a little section here from page 1, okay? So I'm not giving the game away here. Well, there isn't a game to give away. The entire book is full of little experiences that he has had to encounter. Dear Mr. Alcoholic, he says, call all alcoholics, please. Just get drunk in... Can all alcoholics, please, just get drunk in their houses and fall asleep there? Why do you insist that you drink your tenant's super in a public place where some do-gooder will think you are ill and call for an ambulance? Can you also have a bath once in a while? I know it's nice to roll around in the road drunk, but it would be nice if you were at least a bit clean to start with. Would you mind awfully not swearing at me, taking a swing at me, or exposing yourself to me? I've had quite enough abuse from non-drunks out there. Still, at least your fists are really easy to dodge, and if I stop holding you up, you fall over. If you have a medical condition, please don't use it as an excuse to get taken to hospital. If you tell me I'm drunk and need to sleep it off, I have less work to do than if you had told me I've got chest pain, angina, cancer and difficulty in breathing. The more tests I have to do, the longer it will be before you get to hospital, and the more I have to come into physical contact with you. If you are just drunk, then I can just be a taxi. When you have been sick at some point, when you have been sick at some point in the next week or so, could you please change your clothing? Give them someone who hasn't knackered their brain or booze to wash. Dry vomit on the clothing while advertising your love for beer doesn't endear you to me, thank you very much. Please keep your weight down either through diet or through terminal liver failure. I'm the poor person that has to lug the dead weight of your unconscious body into the ambulance. You don't have to tell me I'm an alcoholic and sound so proud about it. I do have a nose and I can smell it for myself. Finally, although Tennant's Super Strong Lager, White Lightning, and for the rich alcoholic Stella Artois are perfectly acceptable drinks, could you please come up with something less damaging? I think lighter fuel is better for you and contains fewer chemicals. And the entire book is a bit like that. And it's really good, all right? I do believe he also has a second book out now, sort of the follow-on to this, which is more experiences. So highly recommend that book to you. I'm already a third of the way through this and I've only had it a week. So really enjoying this. Once again, it's called Blood, Sweat and Tea. And it's by Tom Reynolds, okay? Blood, Sweat and Tea from Tom Reynolds. There we are. That's our book of the day. Now, what else has happened? Oh, yes. The new Aldi store has opened at last. That's the replacement for Waitrose. You may remember we're going. Do you know we're going back 18 months now? 18 months ago, our local Waitrose closed, and it was an enormous shame. It really was. It was such a friendly shop. The staff there were fantastic, but apparently it just didn't make enough money, so they closed it down. Anyway, the site was bought by Aldi, who have spent many months doing the place up, I suppose, to their specifications. And it's all done now. And I went in there the other day, and oh my, it was ever so busy in there. It was really busy. The one thing I noticed straight away were there were no baskets, only trolleys. No baskets at all, which is a bit odd really, but there we go, that's the way it is. Also, they had two burly looking doormen on there, standing near the checkouts, making sure no one's stealing anything. We never had that in Waitrose. It's just, I don't know, it just made me feel a little bit strange really, having doormen in what really is just a kind of local supermarket. It's not particularly big, this shop, really. Certainly not in comparison to the Sainsbury's or the Tesco's down the road. Anyway, so I had a look round, and Aldi make this big thing of having 6 items on the fruit and veg section for 49p. And indeed, sure enough, they had one. One of the items was a punnet of grapes, which was 49p, and I do know that in Sainsbury's that would have cost about £1 for that. But looking round the store, they're sold on cheapness. They have no brand names in there whatsoever. There's no Heinz, there's no Kellogg's, nothing like, there's no Cadbury's, nothing like that at all. It's all unbranded or their own brand goods. But after walking around, and I bought some cheese for about £1.68, I came to the conclusion that apart from the items that they're advertising as very cheap, I didn't think it was that much cheaper. Maybe I was looking at the wrong things, I don't know. I really didn't think it was that much cheaper, so I don't know really. I went in there again yesterday. This would have been about 2:30 in the afternoon. And I wanted to get some milk. You know how it is, you start walking around there. I wasn't going to take a trolley for just 2 pints of milk, excuse me. So I had a bit of a walk around, and I picked up some ice cream, some milk, and a packet of bananas. I went to the checkout, and there were 8 people waiting to be served and 1 checkout open. And I looked around, there was no other staff anywhere else to be seen. They had 1 checkout open, and I waited 2 minutes, and then I put down my stuff at the till and I walked out. I can't believe that is just so bad. How can a supermarket that's just opened have 1 person on the checkout? It was ridiculous. And indeed, most people had a trolley full of stuff. I would have been standing there 15, 20 minutes trying to get through this queue. Absolutely ridiculous. So I don't think I'll be going in there much. I mean, as I've said to you before, I'm a great fan. I like Asda, which is, of course, I don't know if you Americans know, that is part of the Walmart group, Asda. I love Asda. It's my favourite supermarket. And I love Waitrose, and I love Marks and Spencer's food. I'm not keen on Sainsbury's. I'm not keen on I don't know why. I'm not sure why I don't like Sainsbury's. Tesco's, it's kind of a little bit out of the way, so I don't really go there. Asda, there is no Asda here in Bracknell, and we don't have a Waitrose anymore. So we're really stuck with either Sainsbury's or Aldi at this neck of the woods at the moment. So there we are, not much. Maybe I'll just have to move. What are your experiences of the cheap supermarkets if you're here in the UK listening? Indeed, if you're in Bracknell, have you been to the new Aldi in Bracknell? And what did you think of it? do let us know. The email address of the show is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Email time, boys and girls. First of all, let's go to Maureen in Spain. Hola! Although Maureen says, hola Christopher, and then she puts in Spain. In Spain, we don't pronounce the H. So it's hola. Thank you, Maureen. Learn Spanish with Maureen. I can see you doing your own podcast. I would like to learn a little bit of Spanish, so anything that you can suggest, Maureen, I'd be happy to do. Hola! Hope you're well and thriving in the sunshine. Well, very, very changeable weather here at the moment, Maureen. 1 minute the showers are coming down, then it's sunny, then it's cloudy. Very changeable weather, but it's not cold. So I'm not that bothered. I would like a bit more sunshine, especially for the tomato plants and all that, which are doing extremely well. The first red tomato is now on the plant, and there's a lot of them on the larger plants. A lot of them starting to turn from green to orange. So that's all coming along very well, thank you. I'm also had a couple of strawberries already. I know there's another red one down there, waiting to be eaten as we speak. So very tasty, but not much sun at the moment. Maureen says, I always loved the British summers when I lived there. But British summers only seem to last for about 6 weeks before the winter set in. Yeah, you're right. I'm so glad that you go out into the garden and share the beauty of your garden and your plants with us. Maybe summers in Royal Berkshire last longer because your neighbours in Windsor have pulled a few strings. I think that's quite possible, actually. You obviously have enchufas. I don't know what that is. That is Spanish and means you know people who are well connected. Well, of course, you know. And we do know a few people who are well connected. Thank you very much, Maureen. We would have been in the garden today, actually, but it's extremely windy out there. So that's why we're in the studio. You know what? Although I don't actually have as much space in here, in should we call it? What should we call this then? Because the other studio is the Mirable studio, isn't it? What could we call this? I don't know. The television studio? I don't know. What could we call this? Although I don't, you know, I'm disappointed that I haven't been able to get the camera back further than I thought. However, I do have a lot more room to move. I feel extremely comfortable in here. So maybe it's not all bad after all, eh? I don't know. Do you want some flashing lights behind me or something like that? Hey, that's the only thing. There's no flashing lights in here. All the other equipment's in the other studio. I mean, I'm recording, making the sound recording on my little recording device, which you can't even see that, can you? Maureen says, I must say that I enjoyed the video you made by a lake near your home. Now, that would have been about a year ago. I've been looking forward to a revisit. Maybe this won't be possible, as you do seem to be busier these days. Now, actually, I'm not so busy. I'm not as busy as I was, but there's no reason why we can't go back to the lake. It is an effort to get up there, to take the camera and the recording stuff and the stand and everything. And I do cycle up there, actually, because where we did the video by the lake last year, there's no road nearby. It's like just a track. It is nice up there, though. I'll try and go there. I will try and go there over the next few weeks, all right? We have planned on having a holiday in the UK in September, October. But due to commitments here, we may only manage a few days, if that. Being a gadget person myself, I was really looking forward to doing some serious shopping because, where I live, we don't have the choices that you have in the UK. No offence meant. Among other things, I wanted a really super-duper sat-nav because, like you, I have no sense of direction and I can't remember where I've been, let alone where I'm going. Yeah, I'm terrible like that. I'm really bad. Now, you know I do this job in Birmingham on Fridays now, Well, I've been doing that, 6-7 weeks now? I still need the sat-nav to get there. I have no idea how to get there. Such a bad sense of direction. My dad was not like that at all. If he was taking us to the seaside or something like that, he would be able to get there and in his head would already have looked at the map and worked out several other different routes in case we hit traffic. Amazing. I wish I could do that. Maureen says, my present sat-nav is about 6 years old and the current models are so much better. Sometimes my present sat-nav takes me straight to the door. Other times it leads me a merry dance and I am helpless to do anything about it because I am at its mercy. Yeah, me too. Me too. My friend, indeed mine is about 6 years old as well, Maureen. I bought mine when they hadn't been out very long and it cost me £700. Now you can buy one that is 100 times better for £200, but I'm not unhappy about that because it has got me to places that I couldn't have got to, such as my sister's house. My sister, when to get to my sister's house, you have to go through all these little windy roads and all that business. And I found it extremely difficult to find. I actually still need it now to go and visit my sister. I could not drive to my sister's house without the sat-nav, and that's the truth. It's terrible, isn't it, eh? That is just awful. That's the way it is. That's how I am. So I don't regret paying that at all. My friend Ron, he's got a new sat-nav. He only bought one a couple of weeks ago. And it keeps him up to date with traffic reports. And if he hits traffic, he just hits the button. I think it says reroute. And it takes him in another direction away from the traffic. It's all very clever. Maureen says, I remember once when I lived in the UK, the sat-nav took me down a very narrow country lane. Then we came to a gap in a hedge. I slowed down, just as well because beyond the hedge was the M4 motorway. I must admit that I waited until there was nothing coming and joined the motorway by driving through a gap in the hedge. Oh, you get done for that, Maureen. The people in the car with me found the whole thing incredible. Well, that's the funny thing. If I set my sat-nav to avoid kind of major roads, which I did once while I was at my sister coming home, it took me home through the middle of all these fields. It was bizarre. Absolutely bizarre, down these little B and C roads. It was only wide enough for one car. Yeah, honestly, in the middle of fields. I was very concerned any moment that a cow would come in front of me or anything like that, dear. But with the sat-nav, I have had some very scenic journeys. When I'm out for a ride and I see traffic ahead, I just turn off down a side road and see where it leads to. Without the sat-nav, I would just queue for hours in traffic jams. What a pity they weren't available years ago, as having no sense of direction can be extremely limiting. Although I do understand the London Underground maps, so I could travel around London successfully if I got lost. I'd just look for the familiar roundabout of the Underground and would retrace my steps via the tube. Yeah, that's a good way to do it, actually. I think I'm an intelligent person, but I just don't understand maps, or north, east, south and west for that matter. It's all beyond me. Me too, Maureen. Oh, Maureen, me too. I have got lost before a few times, and I always remember this is before I got the sat-nav, trying to drive up to my sister's, and I got lost on the A15 near Peterborough, and it was very late. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning or something like that, and I rang up my sister and I was screaming at her down the phone, and of course it wasn't her fault. Yeah, and I feel bad about that now. I was screaming at her down the phone, and in the end I turned round and came back. It's something, I think I'm actually scared of it. Scared of being lost. Funny, isn't it? I'm actually scared of being lost. Perhaps scared that, and I will never find my way back again. Although, of course, that's not the case. You always find your way back, don't you? How can you get lost in the UK? It's only so many miles across and up and down. But I do. I break out into a terrible panic if I think I'm lost. Maureen also says, I love your studio now you've put the Union Jack back up, which of course it's not behind me at the moment because we're kind of just experimenting in here at the moment. I will put it up. The only thing is that I've got a curtain behind me now, and it's going to have to be safety pins to do it, wouldn't they? I'll put it up on the safety pins. That's what I'll do. That's what I do. When I finish the show, I'll go down to the train station, get my tickets changed. I hope it's still open. Actually, I never thought of that. Well, I wonder what time the ticket box closes. Oh, that's a worry, isn't it? Yeah, I'll have to rush up as soon as I've finished the show and see what all that's about and get some safety pins and perhaps put up the Union Jack before the next show, unless we're outside if it's a nice day. She said, I love your studio. Now you've put the Union Jack back up. Your studio looks so much better and brighter. I hope the majority of your viewers agree. Keep the programmes coming, Chris. We love them. My addiction continues. Love from Maureen in Torrevieja. You haven't written down how to say it this time, have you, Maureen? So I've mucked that up, I'm afraid. You've got to write it as it's supposed to sound, my love, okay? She says, in Spain, P.S. Following my apology, I hope the elf problem is now resolved. I think it is, actually. You have been forgiven by the Society of Elves. All right? Oh, I love it. Well, shall I put those on the floor? You can't see my lovely nephews in that picture. Quick one here from Doug, who watches the show on YouTube and says, I see you've changed the wallpaper on your computer. Yes, I... If those of you that watching the previous shows will have seen a half-naked man on my computer screen, which was actually the desktop. And it's one of those things that you don't notice until you've done the show and then you watch it. Oh, my God, what a good job he had some clothes on, really. So yeah, we've changed the wallpaper on the computer. I've already listened to this, but I had to watch the tail end of your show to see the new studio. It was also fun to watch Suko for the second time around also, yeah. Suko, of course, recently singing at the karaoke night that I do at Monday nights at Bluches. And talking of Bluches, the manager there is moving on to another Belushi's, a bigger one, the kind of what's the word? What do you call it? You know, the top, the jewel in the crown, so to speak, of Belushi's, their main place, which is in Tower Bridge in London Bridge, more in the centre of London. So he's moving in just a few days' time. I will stay at the Hammersmith branch, but it's likely he will ask me to go and do a night or two for him at the new place. This is what usually happens. So decisions are going to have to be taken at that point. I'm going to have to decide probably to have to leave somewhere to be able to do that. Because, I mean, there's only so many nights of the week. And I don't think I have a free night at the moment. I have Tuesday free at the moment, so I could fill that up. But I think one needs a day off in the week, especially at my advanced years. So I'll probably have to make a decision into possibly taking the night from somewhere else and trying something new. You know, I do enjoy all the jobs I do, really. But sometimes if you've been somewhere a long time, I think you become a bit stale. People get fed up with you as well. And sometimes it's time for a move, and it may well be that I move from somewhere else. Nothing to do with money, okay? Want to point that out. No extra money. I never go for the extra money. If extra money is offered, I don't necessarily go for that. If I think there's a new challenge to be taken, yes, I like to take that. So I may well do that. But it's nice. But the nice thing was, I was in Belushi's Hammersmith on Monday when I do the karaoke. And customers were coming up to me and saying, "You're not leaving, are you going with Robbie? We don't want you to leave." And how nice is that? That made me feel so good. It really did. Such a nice bunch of people. They really are very down to earth in Belushi's and Hammersmith. It's a great place to work. It's got its regulars. I would say the average age is pretty low in there. I would say about 25 to 30, I would say, is the average age in there. But a great bunch of girls and boys in there. Fantastic lot they are. They really are. And for some people to come up and say that, and indeed the assistant manager come up and says, "You're not going as well, are you?" And I'm like, "No, why?" A lot of the regulars have asked. How nice is that? You couldn't want to work somewhere more than where you know you are being appreciated. I've worked in places where I've often felt, why are you here? You're kind of getting on with the job, it's no problem, but you're thinking, what am I actually doing here? Is there any purpose to me being here? Could I be replaced by a CD or a tape? And in some of these places, I think I can be, and I don't quite understand why some places have DJs. It's a bit of a mystery to me. And of course it's a waste of the venue's money as well. But you don't say anything, you just do the job and you're paid for the job you do. I wouldn't say that I was taking advantage. It's up to the venue concerned, isn't it, really? Whether they want you or not. But I think there comes a point where you're thinking, you know, I don't know why I'm here. And eventually it gets you. And you're thinking, no, you've got to find something else, something where you'll be appreciated for what you do. And Belushi's is one of those places. I have felt appreciated from the first day I've started here, and I've nearly been there a year now. I think it'll be a year in August. Also, the Monday nights have done so well that the manager has given me a small rise. Only a small one, but nevertheless a rise. A way of saying thank you, you've made us more money, here's a little bit for you. Fair enough, isn't it? It's absolutely fair enough. And it's just a shame that other places that one works are completely different to that and don't give you anything else. I find it a bit of an insult, to be honest, to be working at places for a long time and not being given anything else. It's just a downright insult. And I'm sure one or two of you, or many of you, have so often felt undervalued in a job that you're doing. Talk to me about it. Talk to me about it. My email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Hello to Suko. Hello, Suko. She says, "I've got major jet lag. I got the giggles on air. I was embarrassed, but friends emailed me and said they loved it." Yes, Suko was doing a show for WGBB Radio in New York and started laughing. And because, well, that's very unprofessional, Suko, dear. You don't see me falling around here in fits of laughter, do you? Eh? Please, dear, try and be a little bit more professional in your jobs. Okay? It's our friend Toby from Japan, who writes a very interesting email here. A very, very adult email, if you don't mind me saying so. But he wants to know, so we will try and answer the question, Toby. Hello, Chris. It's been a while. How are you? Not too bad. Bit of a chest, but we're getting there. I want to ask you a question. Please tell me honestly. Do cats have periods? Menstrual periods? If yes, how do you take care of them? Do they have cat tampons? If not, how do they do their reproduction cycles? Your love, Confused Toby from Japan. Thank you, Toby, for this adult question. Do you know what, Toby? I have no idea, I'm afraid. I really don't know, because both my cats were done, so to speak, before they came to me. So I don't know. I really don't know how that dealt with. Someone else know? Toby wants to know. Come on. We need help. Do cats have menstrual periods? And how do you take it? Is there a mess in the house? Someone's going to know the answer to this. Please let us know. Chris at unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. And finally today, our phone's going again, isn't it? Listen, I'll answer it in a minute. Finally today, I have to tell you, I still have not yet seen Harry Potter. I cannot find someone to go with. Can you believe that? I may end up going on my own. We'll have to see that. Has anyone seen Harry Potter yet? I gather the film is actually about 3 hours. It's a long old film, that one, you know. Now, I thought Star Trek was long, because that was about 2 hours, 10 minutes, wasn't it? But the Harry Potter one is about 3 hours long. My God, well, I'm not going to go in there and buy 3 hours worth of food, dear. It's clearly going to have to be a flask of tea and a Tupperware box full of banana sandwiches. Possibly and an apple as well. All right, then. Maybe a little old bag of Maltesers as well. We like the Maltesers. Apparently one of the worst sweets you can have. Did you know that, Maltesers? Full of, what is it, hydrogenated vegetable fat and all that business. Not nice. Not nice at all. Well, I better rush up to the train station now, otherwise I'm going to lose my 22 quid, aren't I? And I shan't sleep for weeks if that happens. Thanks very much for watching and listening to the show. My name's Chris Reardon. The email address, once again, chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. See you on the next show. Bye-bye now.